Россия и Китай уверенно смотрят.
Russia and China feel confident about the future and actively develop ties in politics, economy, defense, expanding cultural exchanges, and fostering people-to-people contacts. In short, we are working together to do everything that serves to deepen bilateral cooperation and advance the comprehensive development of our nations.
As Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in Beijing for high-level meetings with Xi Jinping, fresh reports and leaks have emerged that some believe are aimed at creating visible cracks between China and Russia at a sensitive geopolitical moment. Following what critics described as Donald Trump's unsuccessful diplomatic trip to China, speculation is now growing over whether attempts are being made behind the scenes to drive a wedge between Putin and Xi Jinping. A Financial Times report claimed that during private discussions with Donald Trump, Chinese President Xi Jinping suggested that Vladimir Putin may one day come to regret his decision to launch the Ukraine war. According to reports, Xi Jinping recently delivered what some observers described as one of his sharpest private criticisms yet of Vladimir Putin's handling of the Ukraine conflict during conversations with Trump. The Financial Times reported that she directly told Trump that Putin could ultimately regret the Ukraine war decision, suggesting Beijing may have deeper concerns about the long-term consequences of the conflict. The report further claimed that Xi's private comments about Putin reportedly went much further than the discussions he previously held with former U.S. President Joe Biden regarding Russia and Ukraine. According to the Financial Times, she allegedly warned Trump that Putin's strategic gamble in Ukraine could eventually backfire on Russia and potentially reshape the global balance of power in unpredictable ways. The report also claimed that she had never personally offered such a direct assessment of Putin himself during his earlier talks with Joe Biden, making the reported comments especially striking. Interestingly, the official White House fact sheet released after the Trump-Xi meetings reportedly made no mention whatsoever of Ukraine, Vladimir Putin, or the sensitive private exchanges described in the report. The Financial Times also claimed that Donald Trump proposed the idea of a potential U.S. China-Russia alignment against the International Criminal Court during discussions with Xi in Beijing. Meanwhile, Vladimir Putin began his latest visit to China on May 19th, where he is expected to hold extensive bilateral talks with Xi Jinping amid growing global attention on the future of Russia-China relations.
Dear Chinese friends, I am glad to visit Beijing once again at the invitation of my longtime good friend, Chinese President Xi Jinping. Regular mutual visits and Russian-Chinese negotiations at the highest level is an important, integral part of our joint efforts to develop all-inclusive relations between the two countries, revealing their truly limitless potential. Let me remind you that 25 years ago, Russia and China signed a treaty of good neighborliness and friendly cooperation, laying a solid foundation for genuine strategic interaction and comprehensive partnership for the benefit of our countries and peoples. At present, Russian-Chinese relations have reached an unprecedented level. Their specific nature is manifested in an atmosphere of mutual understanding and trust, willingness to cooperate on bilaterally beneficial and equal terms, to conduct respectful dialogue, to support each other on issues affecting the fundamental interests of the two countries, including protection of sovereignty and national unity. Russia and China feel confident about the future and actively develop ties in politics, economy, defense, expanding cultural exchanges, and fostering people-to-people contacts. In short, we are working together to do everything that serves to deepen bilateral cooperation and advance the comprehensive development of our nations. It is important that these very issues will form the agenda of the upcoming talks in Beijing. I sincerely appreciate President Xi Jinping's commitment to long-term cooperation with Russia. I believe that our warm, friendly relationship helps us set the most ambitious goals for the future and turn them into reality. Thus, Russian-Chinese trade turnover continues to grow, having long exceeded the mark of $200 billion. Settlements are almost entirely conducted in rubles and yuan. Major initiatives are being implemented in key areas of cooperation. Following the successful conclusion of cross-cultural years, the Russian-Chinese Years of Education Cooperation launched in January, marking the 10th such interstate project in the humanitarian space. I would like to note that in Russia, we hold great respect for China's centuries-old history and its achievements in culture, the arts, and science. We are interested in bringing our nations closer, understanding each other even better, and drawing on all the positive aspects of the rich traditions and heritage of both countries. Therefore, we welcome the introduction of visa-free travel between our countries on a reciprocal basis. This not only helps to boost business and tourism exchanges, but also opens up new opportunities for communication and networking between the peoples of Russia and China. The close Russian-Chinese strategic partnership plays an important, stabilizing role on the world stage. At the same time, we do not ally ourselves against anyone, but work towards peace and global prosperity. It is precisely on this basis that Moscow and Beijing act in concert to defend international law and the provisions of the UN Charter in all their entirety, as a coherent and interconnected whole. We support active cooperation through the UN, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, BRICS, and other multilateral structures, making a significant contribution to settling pressing global and regional issues. I am confident that together we will continue to do everything possible to deepen the Russian-Chinese partnership and good neighborly ties for the dynamic development of our two countries and the well-being of our peoples in the interest of maintaining global security and stability. See you soon in Beijing. Thank you for your attention.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.